This is gonna be a different type of video, less edited, more talking, and it's more of a rant because we need to talk about this because I have seen so many people brush this off as just a business story, and I am genuinely losing my mind a little bit about it. EA doesn't belong to its shareholders anymore. As of August 4th, it is owned almost entirely by Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, and half the gaming press is covering this like it's a footnote, like it's just numbers on the spreadsheet that has nothing to do with you, the person who is going to open FC27 in September and get hit with a pack offer. No, absolutely not. I think it is the single biggest thing shaping how this franchise feels for the next decade. And I need to walk you through exactly why, because once you see the math, you're going to be as annoyed as I am. Quick disclaimer though, and I promise I'll only say this once, some of what I'm about to say is confirmed source and on paper. Some of it is an educated, informed prediction based on how these deals always play out. And I'm going to tell you which is which as we go in, because I'm not about to be one of those channels that say AI is going to replace everyone, sources, trust me bro, and stuff like that, because I actually do care about getting this right, even when I am as annoyed as I am right now. Let's get a fact on the table first, because I want you to fully be informed before I start ranting. August 4th, 2026, EA is officially private, owned by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, along with Silver Lake and, sit down for this one, Affinity Partners, which is Jared Kushner's private equity firm. Yes, that Jared Kushner. PIF holds 93.4%, Silver Lake gets 5.5%, and I think Affinity gets the leftover like 1.1%, something like that. And $55 billion, the largest all-cash leverage buyout in history, second biggest video game acquisition ever, only behind Microsoft grabbing Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion thereabout. EA has gone completely from NASDAQ, delisted, done. It answers to private owners now, full stop. And here's the part that should make your stomach drop a little. This isn't just rich fund buys company with cash. EA took on roughly $20 billion in debt as part of this, not PIF's money sitting pretty in a vault somewhere alone. That EA itself has to pay back, using its own future cash flow as collateral. Read that again. The company now has to generate enough money every single year to service $20 billion in debt. Where do you think that money is going to come from? I'll give you a hint. It's not going to come from the executives taking a pay cut. It's gonna come from you. It's gonna come from the packs. It's gonna come from Ultimate Team. It's gonna come from probably the grounds. Y'all think the grounds is gonna be just something? It's gonna come from there. Alright, let's slow down, because this is actually the meat of the issue, and I feel like every article I've read either buries this or gets it wrong. EA has told its debt investors, the people who lent them this money, that they're cutting $700 million in annual cost, and $170 million of that is labeled, and I want you to appreciate the corporate poetry here. Organizational efficiencies. Cute. Very cute. In real person language, that means layoffs. People are going to lose their jobs. That number, that 700 million is confirmed. That's not me speculating. That's in the paperwork. Now, here's where I have to actually rein myself in for a second, because I got this wrong in my notes before I sat down to record this, and I'd rather correct myself on camera than let it slide. There's a theory going around that a huge chunk of those cuts is going to be AI replacing staff, getting let go. I want that theory so badly to be confirmed. Leaked internal memo, because it would make this rant so much easier. It is not. It's not in the investor paperwork, but what is confirmed is that the 700 million in cuts, full stop, and separately, EA has already been caught integrating AI tools into development on games like Battlefield 6. Those are two real separate verified facts. Mashing them together into AI is the official stated plan to gut the workforce is a prediction. An extremely reasonable, extremely likely prediction, but still a prediction. So here's how I'm going to say it, and I need you to hold me to this the same way I'm holding myself to it. The financial math points hard in one direction, and that direction almost certainly involves AI eating jobs. That is an informed read. It's not a smoking gun. I'm not going to pretend it's a smoking gun just because it would make a punchier headline. But even without the AI piece, 20 billion in debt against earnings that are nowhere close to comfortably covering that interest bill means something has to give. And in every single private equity playbook that has ever existed, something has to give means the players have to pay for it. Alright, I stream. You guys know this. Check out my Twitch channel. Be live Mondays to Saturdays at 9 p.m. GMT. But when I'm not playing old games trying to recapture my childhood, I am playing FIFA 17 career mode on stream, trying to win the Bundesliga and Champions League with Borussia Dortmund, mainly because of Marco Reus. And I bring that up not for nostalgia points, but because I think it's actually the perfect contracts for what's coming. FIFA 17 did not have a $20 billion debt loaded strapped to its ankle. Nobody at EA in 2016 was sitting in a boardroom going, how do we squeeze more money out of career mode to satisfy a sovereign wealth fund's payment schedule? It was a full, complete game. You bought it, you got the whole thing. That was the deal. Wild concept, I know, in this day and age. But FC in 2026, under this new ownership, structurally, mathematically required to squeeze harder. And I don't say that lightly. Analysts are already predicting deeper Ultimate Team monetization, not scaled back, deeper, more Ultimate Team points pushes, more seasonal pass expansions, more pack pricing shenanigans, because Ultimate Team isn't just EA's biggest mode anymore. It's the single most reliable cash machine in the entire company, and reliable cash is exactly what a $20 billion debt structure needs not to collapse. And before anyone tells me I'm being dramatic, this isn't a wild prediction pulled out of nowhere. FC 27 is already launching with the $149.99 Ultimate Plus Edition. The seasonal pass structure has already been expanding release after release. This trend existed before the acquisition even closed. All the acquisition does is take a trend that was already annoying and hand it a very concrete, very urgent financial reason to get worse faster. And here's the one that actually makes me want to throw my controller away. There's a real credible prediction that loot boxes could make more of a comeback in regions where they were never actually gone away. Now sure, Ultimate Team packs already are loot boxes, let's not pretend otherwise, but there's specific concern that EA leans harder into markets in Asia where the loot box mechanisms are not that regulated, that got banned, in places like Belgium because Western players and lawmakers pushed back hard enough. Those same mechanics are still totally normal and popular there. So under an Ono with a global growth mandate and a debt clock ticking, guess which direction is the obvious business move on a spreadsheet, even if it's a slap in the face to everyone who fought to get those mechanics reined in over here. Now I want to take a step outside of FC for 1 second because this genuinely bothers me and I think it deserves more airtime than it's getting. The Sims has had same-sex couples, transgender characters, LGBTQ plus storylines built into it as a core content for years. Saudi Arabia criminalizes same-sex relationships. That's not me being inflammatory, that's just a fact. A USC professor puts it about as plainly as it can be put. Is this ownership eventually going to change what kind of content EA is even willing to make? Nobody has answered that, not even EA, not PIF. EA's line is, headquarters stay in Redwood City. Andrew Wilson keeps his job as CEO. That's alright, cool. Neither of those things actually answers the questions anyone is actually asking. I'm not going to sit here and tell you The Sims is getting censored tomorrow because that's not confirmed either, but we're not going to answer that question. Is historically not a great sign when the question is this specific. Now let's talk esports. PIF already owns ESL Faceit, one of the biggest esports platforms on the planet. Saudi Arabia hosted the Esports World Cup. They've locked in the hosting rights for 2027 Esports Olympic Games, and now they own EA Sports FC. the most played virtual football game on earth. This isn't all needs they own a football game now. This is direct influence over one of the largest competitive gaming ecosystems that exist, slotting perfectly into a soft power strategy that's been building for years. It's not a coincidence. None of this is a coincidence. The most honest thing I can tell you is when I, calm down and stop ranting for a second and just be level with you. There's a genuine sentiment floating around the industry circles that literally nobody outside this deal fully understands the actual thesis behind it. The private equity playbook itself. Acquire, cut costs, squeeze, cash flow, exit in 5 to 7 years. Sure, everyone knows that formula. We've seen it 100 times, but the specific bet that makes $55 billion make sense at this moment with this depth load against this competitive landscape. Nobody's laid that out clearly. Maybe there's some genius Sims 5 strategy or esports master plan sitting behind closed doors that ties it all together beautifully, but I genuinely don't know that, and neither does anyone yelling about this online. What I do know is that the debt is real. The 700 million in cuts are real, and the incentive structure that debt creates points in exactly one consistent direction. Heavier monetization, not lighter, no matter what community roadmap posts try to convince you otherwise. So here's my actual take. Annoyance and all. I don't think FC turns into some dystopian and unplayable cash grab overnight. This stuff never happens overnight. That's not how it works. It's a price bump here, a slightly pushier pack structure there, a new regional pricing tier that quietly costs more than the last one over here, death by 1,000 cuts. But the direction? The direction is set. It's set by the math, and the math does not care about your community feedback survey. $20 billion in debt does not care about goodwill. It cares about cash flow, period. And that's why I keep going back to FIFA 17 on stream, chasing that Bundesliga and Champions League double with Marco Reus and Dortmund every week. It's not just nostalgia for me. It's a live, running reminder of what this franchise looked like before it owed anybody $20 billion. I don't think we're getting that version back, to be honest. I genuinely think we're watching the last stretch of FC before ownership pressure fully reshapes what this series is even allowed to be. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Let me know. Genuinely, I want to hear if you think that I'm being too doom and gloom here. And if you're around Monday through Saturday at 9 p.m. GMT, come catch me at FIFA 17 stream. Yell at me in chat about whether this take holds up. As usual, any feedback from you guys would be greatly appreciated.